Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to a world of laughter, learning, and entertainment. Welcome to another exciting video where we'll be shedding light on Charlie Mitten. Charles Mitten, 17 January 1921 to January 2002, was an English football player and manager who came through the junior ranks at Manchester United. Over his career, Mitten also played for Fulham, Mansfield Town and Altrincham in England, and for Independiente Santa Fe in Colombia, where he had a notable stint, and where he and a number of other players left to escape the maximum wage that was imposed for footballers in England at the time. After his playing career finished, he was involved in football management. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within playing career and discover their significance. Mitten signed with Manchester United in 1936 and was in the junior side with future colleagues Stan Pearson and Johnny Carey. However, due to the suspension of league football owing to the outbreak of war, his first professional appearance did not come until 1946. During the war, Mitten served in the Royal Air Force, questing for whatever club was nearest his station. He had 2 seasons playing for Chelsea and made 22 guest appearances for Southampton, scoring 5 goals. After the war, Mitten rejoined Manchester United and proved himself as an excellent winger during the early years of Matt Busby's time at the club. He was part of a talented forward line alongside Jimmy Delaney, Stan Pearson, Jack Rowley and Johnny Morris, which became known as the famous Five of Old Trafford. In his 4 years at United, he helped the club finish as runners-up in the league 3 times and in 4th place once. He also played in the win over Blackpool in the 1948 FA Cup final. Over the course of his United career, he made 152 appearances in total, scoring 61 goals. Now, we shift our focus to the Bogota Bandit, a topic that deserves our attention. In 1950, United went on a 12-game tour of America, where they played in front of massive, sell-out crowds. It was at this point that Mitten questioned the small amount of money footballers received. The maximum wage in Britain was £12 a week compared to their evident global popularity. This point was underlined when 2 other British footballers, Neil Franklin and George Mintford, signed for the same Independiente Santa Fe in Colombia, where the league had broken away from FIFA control, which meant that clubs did not have to pay transfer fees to foreign clubs, resulting in many top players from abroad playing in Colombia in a period nicknamed El Dorado. During the tour, Mitten was approached by a wealthy Colombian businessman to play for Independiente Santa Fe in Bogota. Mitten's signing-on fee was reputedly £5,000 plus a weekly wage of at least £40. For this, he was given the nickname the Bogota Bandit, which later became the title of his autobiography. He played in Colombia for a year, scoring 15 times in 34 games, and United's form suffered in his absence. At the end of his first year, Colombia joined FIFA and became subject to FIFA regulations. As Manchester United still held his registration, Mitten was unable to play for anyone but them and had to return to England. He was, however, offered a contract by Santiago Bernabeu, the manager of Real Madrid, who was in the process of forming the all-conquering team that would feature Alfredo Di Stefano, Francisco Gento and Hector Ryle. He turned down this offer, and later stated his regret at not being able to be a part of the successful Real side. Moving on to the next segment, we have returned to England. Upon his return, Mitten was subject to a ban by the Football Association, who fined him 6 months' wages and banned him from playing for the same period. He was also ostracized by Busby, who sold him to Fulham for £22,000 in December 1951. Now aged 31, Mitten made 16 appearances and scored 6 goals in his first season at Craven Cottage, but could not save the club from relegation to the 2nd division. The next season, he played 40 times for another 6 goals, forming a pair with the young Johnny Haynes. During his time at Fulham, he was picked for the London XI in the Intercities Fairs Cup. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting international career. Mitten made one appearance for England in an unofficial charity match against Scotland in 1946. As we venture forward, let's examine management in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. While still a player, Mitten was appointed player coach of Mansfield Town. Mitten joined the club in February 1956 and remained there for over 2 years until June 1958. He played 100 league games, scoring 25 league goals. His reign was a success and Mitten's side was praised for their entertaining football. In the season, his side scored 100 goals in league. In his biography, Mitten stated, "The Mansfield job was the best I ever had in football." At Mansfield, he also gave a debut his 16-year-old son, John, who later went on to play for a number of clubs, including Coventry City. In June 1958, Mitten left Mansfield and joined Newcastle United. Initially, he enjoyed success at the club and steered the club to a pair of solid mid-table finishes, despite an ongoing power struggle between chairman William McKeag, who had installed Mitten and gave him full control over the team, and director and former manager Stan Seymour, who felt the board should be able to veto Mitten's tactics and team selections. Newcastle gained a reputation for free-scoring football under Mitten, but they also proved to be defensively frail, and they ultimately paid the price for this in 1961, when they were relegated after a season in which they scored 86 goals but conceded 109. Mitten was allowed to remain in charge and attempt to steer the club back into the first division, but instead they found themselves fighting relegation to the third division, eventually resulting in Mitten's dismissal a few months into the season. While at Newcastle, he was also involved in the George Eastham affair, which involved another player who challenged the authorities on players' rights. Subsequent to this, he made a brief playing comeback, serving as player-manager at non-league Altrincham before retiring to the sport of greyhound racing, taking up the position of assistant racing manager at White City Stadium in 1977. Let's now turn our gaze towards personal and family and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. Several of Mitten's brothers also played professional football, and many male members of his extended family, into the next generation or two, were at least semi-professional. Mitten died in January 2002, shortly before his 81st birthday. His nephew Albert Scanlon signed for Manchester United soon after Mitten's departure in the early years and remained with the club until 1960. He was a survivor of the Munich air disaster. His great-nephew, Andy Mitten, is a football journalist and has been an editor of the Manchester United fanzine United We Stand since the late years, while another great-nephew, Sam Mitten, is on the books at Stockport County. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting career statistics. Club season League FA Cup other total apps goals Manchester United 28-0-0 38-8-6-3-0 42-18 8-5-1 42-16 5-3-0 total 142-50 19-11-1. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this video.